One of the great ideas is just like the rolling car meetings, when you have somebody who gets into or out of a car for a quick meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And you can turn a corner and suddenly they're a different person. And it's not because they had a quick personal change, it's because of something you developed.
It's because of the Jack in the Box, a jib was called. Tony and a friend of his, they were in southern India, cities outside somewhere having beers, and they drew it on a napkin. That was the beginning of it. The jib, the Jack in the Box, was a pop-up dummy to replace the passenger. So you knew you had cars behind you in Moscow, and they'd give you just a little bit of room because they knew where you were going, probably. They thought they did. Yeah. So you could you could do a right turn, you could do another right turn and create what we called a gap. And a gap would be like 8, 10, 12 seconds is all you needed. And this was choreographed to a fairly well when we did it. But surveillance is comfortable because you haven't ever done anything really hinky that they got them nervous. And you make the turn, the second turn, the passenger, who has probably changed his clothes, and he might put on a hat or take off a hat, but he's out of the car. So you've got 8, 9 seconds before surveillance comes around the corner. The driver picks up an attaché case on the floor, sets it on the passenger seat, pushes the button, this dummy pops up. And the dummy looks just like the guy that just got out of the car. He's wearing the same clothes, he's got the same hair. We got really sophisticated with this. Even if they drove up beside you, the dummy could turn its head and look and turn its head back because the driver had a squeeze device. But on the way to building that, we had some failures, and we before we took it to Hollywood, we tried doing it ourselves. So in Washington, D.C., we had these two brothers that were engineers. They were geniuses. They were such nerds. They were nerds before nerds. Their pants were too short, and they carried lunch buckets to work, and they were just two really genius guys, but crazy. We sent them to Al's Magic Shop down by the White House, 16th Street, to buy sex dolls. Plastic party dolls. I don't know, they're inflatable. And so they said, well, how many? We said, maybe 6. Because we don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna start with that. And we only needed the top half to put into the briefcase. And then we had canisters of compressed gas. And so initially you would just put it on the seat and you'd push the button and the compressed gas and the doll would pop up. But we sent the first one that we tried overseas, some wife in an Eastern European country, we asked her to test drive the jib, the Jack in the Box. So she did that, and she had it on the seat, and she's out in the country or something. And she hits the button, and the thing comes up, and it exploded. It shattered because the gas that came out was so cold, ice cold. And she was made, I guess, of some really, really cheap plastic or something. She blew up. So that's when we took our idea to Hollywood. What they invented was just gorgeous. Oh, the other thing about the one we did, the ones that didn't blow up and actually were in the car and they were up, getting them to go down was kind of hard. And they became like those things outside of car dealerships, but they didn't want to get back in the briefcase. So we went out to LA and they looked at what we had and they said, no. And they invented this scissor mechanism. It was so elegant. It was nothing. It was just a scissor and it just came up and it went down. There's no gas. The last time I saw or heard about the jib was in this book called The $1 Billion Spy by Hoffman. Mm-hmm. It's like on page 3, because there's an operation and they're using our jib. And that jib was in the back seat with 2 wives, front seat were two guys. Does this resonate with the women in this room? Women in the back, guys in the front. And one of the women had a birthday cake. And they'd been on the phone all day in Moscow about, the birthday party, we're going to the birthday party. So the KGB is listening to the phones and they're expecting 2 wives, 2 husbands be in a car going to the birthday party, and they got in the car and they did the 2 rights. The guy in the front seat got out. The wife hands the birthday cake through the opening. The driver pushes the button. the dummy pops up, and it's just so cool. And that's how they met a really, really important asset at CIA. They had been unable to meet him, but because of that night, they were able to meet him. So that's one of the things that the magic builders did.
Yep.
For instance,
Yeah.
fool the eye. How do you fool the eye? Well, they know how to do that.